So hello and welcome back to another episode of the CEO of Fucking Everything. It is a series where myself and Simon, the two co-founders of the Sports News Blitz, Simon also being our resident CEO of absolutely everything, talk with people who've worked in the SIP Media Network, either on Sports News Blitz, Transfer News Blitz, Film News Blitz, whatever it may be, and has now left us, spread their wings, and has got a full-time job in the industry, which is exactly what we're here for. And today we've got the fantastic Emily Clogg with us, who came to us and has worked on the transfer sites and then was very swiftly put onto more client-based sites, which is obviously a big jump. So amazing to have you here, Emily. Well done for getting your new job. Can you give us a bit of information about what is it you're going to be doing now?
So I've accepted an offer for an 8-week internship this summer with Stats Perform as an OPTA analyst editorial intern, which is pretty cool. It's kind of my first, not my first big break because, you know, I've been getting experience over the years, but it's kind of the first thing since uni where I've actually managed to get my foot in the door a bit. So yeah, I'll just be sort of writing articles, helping out with social media, doing a little bit of everything really. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, good stuff. Now there is a story that you're going to tell us, which a little bit later on, about the interview process and maybe some gaps that were plugged alongside, well, during your time here with SIP and working alongside Simon, especially. How did you first get in touch with SIP Media Solutions, with Simon, and get into our network?
Yeah, so I think I was kind of one of many students who was coming towards the end of my degree, sort of this time last year, thinking, oh, it'll be easy getting a job once I've left uni, you know. I'll apply for a couple of jobs and I'll just get one straight away. I think people who are now leaving uni need to start realising that life doesn't work like that. As much as you want it to, it does not come that easy. So I was kind of just applying for jobs all throughout summer, all towards the end of the year, just not really hearing anything back or, you know, not getting past the interview stage. And then I got a message from one of my old tutors at the University of Lancashire called Jerry Byrne. A message from her on LinkedIn saying I've been in touch with someone called Simon Wilkes. He, you know, runs these sites with SIP Media and he wants to help you. You know, I've told him all about you and how much, you know, I think he could help you. Then, yeah, got in touch with Simon through Jerry. So very grateful to Jerry. Because now I've got all this SEO experience that I would never have had otherwise.
No, and that's great. And so, Simon, when Jerry first got in touch with you about Emily, had you seen any of Emily's work before, or was it kind of like a fresh start with Emily and see how she does?
Yeah, no, didn't know Emily from Adam, but she'd come with a glowing recommendation from Jerry, who is someone that I know really well. I went to University of Lancashire myself, 94 to 97, and did a BA honours degree in journalism. So I know Jerry. I've worked with them on that course. We've been a placement provider for that university in that course for a long time. And they've, you know, they do produce phenomenal graduates. So Jerry's just, you know, testimonial of Emily was enough. So once Emily got in touch, I sort of got a very clear process, and I did quite a strenuous kind of vetting procedure before we agreed to take people on placement. You know, Emily will know I do a video call, get to know them, get to find out what teams they like, what sports they like, what they want to learn, and just, you know, I'm gaining information so that I can build a placement that is bespoke to each individual. That's really important to me, and that's what we did, wasn't it, Emily? We sort of worked out the logistics of because Emily was working part-time, but not in sports journalism. Where were you working, Emily? You're still there, aren't you?
Yeah, I was there this morning at Iceland. Yeah.
So
retail is pretty boring.
So we really do fit these placements, internships around people's schedule. Where me personally, I work from sort of 9:30 till 6:30, Monday to Friday. We don't do weekends. Weekends are for going to actually watch sport, you know, see your friends, enjoy stuff that you can then write about in the coming week. So yeah, we just kind of like immediately, Emily being an Arsenal fan was like a big tick in her box, because Arsenal are a huge club with a massive fan base and a massive search volume. So I knew I'd be able to get her to write about Arsenal, and because she was so passionate about football, we just immediately put her onto Transfer News Blitz, didn't we, Emily? And just started that process of like seeing the writing was exceptional from the start. There was no issue with that. It's the understanding of how do you then frame and put it together for Google. That was the main thing that we taught you, wasn't it, Emily?
Yeah, which is just something that unfortunately you don't really learn at uni. Like, a lot of people will go to uni and do sports journalism, come out amazing writers, but then struggle to get a job because they don't know how to like cater their articles to like Google's algorithm, or that's what jobs are looking for nowadays. Everything's sort of digital now, and if you don't know how to get the most out of a digital article, you're not going to get taken on for a job. So yeah, understanding SEO was kind of the main thing for me, that I thought I needed to learn that to be able to sort of then push on and find something after.
And what we've done over the last, God, it's 18 months now, Matt, and I say it's the royal way. What I've done, with some help from you, is build a network of sites. And I'm talking about the sites. I'm talking about WordPress and SEO. You teach the placement students the video and the YouTube, and it's the same principles. It's like, create the content first, and content is king. The content has to be interesting and engaging, and then work with the algorithm, put the tags in, put all the headers in, really understand what YouTube's algorithm is looking for in a video and how it's positioned. My expertise is websites, so it's kind of teaching students how to use a tool called Yoast, which is a plugin that you just put into a website where you get to see what Google can see, and you start talking to that, really training them. I mean, that was just different level, wasn't it, Emily? Like working on Transfer News Blitz with myself and other people in your boat as well that were learning at the same time.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was transfer deadline day, and I think I did about 8 articles in about 4 hours, but it wasn't, I was kind of used to the speed of writing. I was trying to just get stuff out, but it was so different because it's trying to get stuff out and then it's remembering, right, I need to go through this list of everything that, writing the article is one thing, but then all the stuff sort of behind the scenes that when you're reading it on the website, you don't notice. There's a lot more that goes into it, with sort of meta descriptions and SEO and things like that. So yeah, that was quite fun though. I quite enjoyed because I had to do the little like the graphics for it as well on Photoshop. So it was quite hard work. I remember I was working that morning, did that in the evening, and I was like, I need to lie down after this.
That's a really important point, actually, because that we throw you in at the deep end. That was transfer deadline day. I was working transfer deadline day. It was one of those that I think it closed at about 7:30, didn't it, Emily? It wasn't through till 11. So I'd had a long day too. I'd been up since like 6:30, but I knew that this is going to be fun. So I kind of said to Emily, why don't you come along? And I used to work on teamtalk.com, which is the biggest transfer brand. It's been there forever, since the late 90s. So transfer news is just something that all placement students and sports journalism students want to write about. So it was really good fun, but really sort of high energy, wasn't it, Emily? We were kind of both like a bit done by the end of it, but it was kind of what you want to get into this for. And the good thing was it was like live. It was a live environment, working on Transfer News Blitz, putting stuff on Facebook. You learn in those skills all the valuable skills that you're going to need from employers. And I think you're going to come on to a little bit, hopefully, about how this most recent interview was different to ones that you've had before because of your knowledge of WordPress and SEO.
Yeah, I think that's it. You've kind of segued quite perfectly into it. So, Emily, when you obviously went for your interview with OPTA, what I've heard from a little birdie called Simon is that it was your knowledge of SEO and CMS, which is something you really enhanced and learnt whilst with us, was something that kind of made you stand apart.
Yeah, so the interview actually was literally the day after I finished my internship with Simon. So literally the day after, the afternoon after. And yeah, so they were quite impressed with like the social media stuff and like writing ability, that sort of thing. But then they mentioned WordPress, asked if I ever used WordPress before. So I told them that this internship that I'd just done was WordPress. And yeah, I said to them about knowledge of SEO and everything like that. And they said, that's kind of one of the areas that they don't know a lot about. So I think when I said that, they kind of thought, like, we can learn from each other here. Like, I can go and learn all about, their sort of data, all the data they've got on how to write data articles, more social media and stuff like that. But actually, I can kind of help them out with SEO, and I think they kind of thought this can work two ways. I think it was kind of one of the things that they thought this kind of makes her stand out a little bit. So, yeah.
And I think, Emily, that's why you're on this podcast, because me and Matt are here trying to sort of like sell the concept of doing a placement with us if you're at university, or an internship with us if you've left university, because that's, we offer both services. We realize that there's a huge gap missing in people's learnings for them to get into, but we're here to try and help you get into the industry. We want to help, we want to be part of it, and we've created a network of brands that are, specifically, the big picture vision that Matt and I have for Sports News Blitz is for it to be the biggest brand on the planet, powered by placement students and graduates, just working together, collaboratively learning, and just, Matt teaches me loads of things about video and YouTube and social media, and then I reciprocate. So I think that's just the way that this industry needs to be. Everyone needs to stop being so territorial and try and like share the learning, and that's something that I've always sort of like believed in throughout my career.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the whole ethos of SIT Media Solutions, and the Sports Blitz network, I suppose, is a case of we all come together and we'll learn together and we learn off each other, which is absolutely spot on, really. I think with Emily moving so quickly from an internship with ourselves, with yourself, Simon, into an internship with OPTA, and OPTA, everyone's heard of OPTA in the sports journalism sort of world. It's a very good company to get in with. So again, Emily, very well done, fantastic stuff. We've spoken about this before, Simon, sort of between ourselves, but how did it feel for you knowing that there was this gap with Emily that she needed to fill? She's done an internship with you, it's been filled, and then straight away, almost like the day after, she's managed to get that foot in the industry.
Yeah, I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Like, it's just, it's the whole sort of system's a bit broken, and I kind of feel like we've stumbled across a solution to fix that system, because I keep saying we're not kicking universities, we're not kicking the courses. Emily's right. They come out, they've got media law, they're good writers, but they just don't know what I know from like 29 years of being in the industry. But more so in the last 5 years, just the importance of writing a good headline. And that's something we've really honed with you, didn't we, Emily? Just really drilling it, which will be super, super important to OPTA, because they'll want you to really understand, like, that you've got to get the keywords in, you've got to hit those beats when it comes to understanding where is the search volume for the teams and for the leagues. And yeah, it was just, I was kind of like hoping and praying, because Emily had sort of said, like, and I'd seen her confidence kind of really soar during the internship as well, because I am annoyingly positive, and I like to see the sort of positive in everything. So I sort of like, but in Emily's case, I gave a lot of praise because it was very, very much deserved.
No, and that's an absolute credit to yourself, Emily. I think you made a bit of a mistake though, Simon. It's 129 years, isn't it? Experience now.
Here we go. Yeah. Tick that one off.
With that in mind, Emily, back to you a little bit. How did you find it working so closely with Simon, who obviously does have a lot of experience, more than I think me or you have been alive for? So how did you find learning in that sort of, in the environment created within our network, which we like to think is a very positive one and a safe sort of place to learn? How did you find just generally an internship with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think Simon's great. Obviously, not only the experience and the knowledge that he's got, but he's very sort of easy to talk to and approachable. And if you're writing something and you've got any issues, I was never sort of scared to go to him. He would never sort of be like, "Oh, I've already told you that," or "We learned this last week and you forgot." It was always, "Okay, no worries, like, this is how you do it." And from there I kind of made a list and kind of started to follow that, and I think I was messaging Simon a bit less, like sort of while I was writing. But yeah, I don't think there's any sort of better person to learn from, at least from my experience with SEO. I think it's always, you need to speak to someone who's got the experience, because it's one thing learning it, it's another thing applying it, and it's so much easier to apply something when you're being told how to do it by someone who's done it, for years and done it very successfully. It just, yeah, I don't really I can't say much more like positive about Simon. He was just sort of the ideal person to learn from and work with.
Thank you.
I shouldn't have asked that
Emily.
question. I can see his head growing as you're speaking.
That hat's going to fall off.
But no, Simon, what a great character reference that is for you and for working with us here. So with that in mind, if someone was watching this and thought, I have got a gap, or I am looking at wanting to break into the industry and it's just not falling for me, what can they do?
I'll just definitely get in touch. Jump on Sports News Blitz. We've got a contact form. Send an email. Send us your CV. Come and join the gang. I think there's 79 people on the Sports News Blitz WhatsApp group at the moment. They're people that are either on placements, have done placements, have stuck around, just in the ecosystem. But just touching on what Emily said there, I still remember, even though it was like a long, long time ago, I remember graduating and I got a job at the Press Association Sport straight out of uni, and I just didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I had a couple of mentors there, Pete Whitfield and Simon Lovell, that really sort of just took me under their wing and sort of really saw me kind of like seeing how out of depth I was, but I was hungry and I was hungry to learn, and I just kept turning up and happy to do 10-hour days. And that's why Emily says, I know that I can do things quickly because I've been doing it for 29 years. Now I know how much, but what I'd rather do is I'd still rather show young people, because you are all fast at picking things up. I'd rather show you me doing it like in a whirlwind of like chaos. Like, this is everything you've got to do. Here's a guide with a breakdown of it. Now go and have a go at yourself without me watching you, So that's why I'm always happy to sort of like jump back on a quick Google Meet. The world is so much easier now, so much more connected. We're remote, we're on and off calls, on and off WhatsApp calls. It's a brilliant world to live in. And I think we're just really enjoying what we've created here, this kind of mentoring program. And there's going to be a new brand coming out called SEO Lab 24, which is specifically for graduates, because SIP Media Solutions runs mainly placements with students that are at university. And we've identified that there's a gap through working with Emily that, hang on, there's probably a whole heap of graduates that have like got, I don't know, 40 grand, 50 grand in debt doing a degree and can't get a break. So we're here, we've sort of designed a 4-day program that's really intensive, so you can just get it done, learn what you need to learn, and then hopefully go and do an interview and get a job like Emily has.
Oh, great stuff. I think that kind of rounds us off nicely. We'll take a lovely closing statement from our star of the show, Emily. So if someone's watching this and thinking, I want to do a placement with these people, what would you say to them?
I would say 100% do it, and don't even question it, because it will give you like such a big platform to go ahead and find something else, and it will teach you so much that you never even knew that you needed to know to help you get a job in the industry. And you'll have a great time writing for it. It's a lot of fun. What's better than fun and learning something?
Writing about Arsenal.
True, yeah.
Very wise words, Emily. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for being part of our ecosystem. And Simon, thank you for being here. Thank you for sorting all of this. And I think that brings us quite nicely to the end. So
yeah, thanks for hosting, Matt. Thanks for hosting.
Thank you very much.